Hello, this is Russell Dobular sitting in for Jimmy Dore, who is performing in El Paso, Texas on Friday. Mossad agents, half-price tickets. So check him out there on Friday. All right, so now, hey, the two faces of Elon Harvey Two-Face Musk. Here's Elon coming to the rescue, fighting the good fight. Elon Musk clashes with Australian court over violent videos on X. Mr. Musk's defiance over removing content is testing the boundaries of international legal systems. I love that framing.
Since when is a company not allowed to do that?
Yeah, well, really, what international system are you talking about? Because since when do countries have the right to censor outside their borders? Well, like, what the fuck are you even talking about? Well, what international system?
The great, what's her name, Mar from the NPR said, it is a problem that the First Amendment's so robust. But I do support platforms having the right, but not Elon.
No, but not Elon. An Australian court on Wednesday extended an injunction ordering the social media platform X to remove videos depicting the recent stabbing of a bishop, setting the country's judicial system up for a clash with the company's owner, Elon Musk, who has decried the court's order as censorship. Videos of the stabbing of Bishop Mari Emanuel during a church service on April 15th quickly started circulating on X, racking up hundreds of thousands of views. Australia's e-safety commissioner, a regulator overseeing online safety, ordered X and other social media platforms to remove posts showing the video the next day.
Why?
Other platforms complied, and X blocked the content for Australian viewers. But Mr. Musk said that the platform would not delete the videos, which remain visible to users globally, prompting a judge to issue a temporary injunction against the company on Monday. That order was extended on Wednesday until a May 10th hearing, and X faces potential daily fines of roughly $509,000 for noncompliance.
What?
Yes, a day.
So he was censoring it in Australia.
In Australia.
But I'm not allowed to see it.
Exactly.
So
that is what they're asserting, that they have the right to remove this for everybody, but we'll get there. A 2021 law granted Australia's e-safety commissioner a broad remit to police violent and sexually exploitative content online. The current commissioner, Julie Inman Grant, is a former Twitter employee, so she was one of Jack Dorsey's people. Separately, the e-safety commissioner fined X about $384,000 in October for failing to provide the regulator with information about its efforts to combat online child exploitation. That same month, Mr. Musk sparred online with the European Commissioner Thierry Breton, who said X violated European law by disseminating illegal and misleading content about the Hamas attack against Israel. This month, Mr. Musk threatened to release demands from a court in Brazil, which ordered the company to block accounts that it said shared hate speech and misinformation. Mr. Musk said the accounts belonged to politicians and journalists. Mr. Musk's threat to release the court's demands was in defiance of an order to keep them private. Quote, "This judge has brazenly and repeatedly betrayed the Constitution and people of Brazil. He should resign or be impeached," Mr. Musk wrote on X on April 7th. Shame. Okay, so this is what Schellenberger has been warning us about. Michael Schellenberger has done a lot of reporting about the Scottish hate speech bill in the context of intelligence services throughout the world, pushing these kinds of laws in Scotland, in Australia, in Canada. Why? To get around our First Amendment. This is exactly what they want. They want to be able to go to countries that don't have a First Amendment, pass laws that you could never pass without probably getting them stricken down at the Supreme Court in the United States, if not a lower court, so that these tech platforms will wind up creating one algorithm that conforms to the most restrictive law outside of the United States.
Wait, so is America not in charge of the shadow government? Is that what I'm learning from this?
Well, we are.
We're not. Well,
our deep state wants to censor us. This is a way for them to get around it.
This
you
is
pass
all the
these
deep
laws
states around the
outside
world.
of the. Well, sure.
Well, and it will
Well, sure.
it will work if people are not willing to stand against it. I mean, Rumble has something going on where they've apparently been subpoenaed to testify before the House. They're also dealing with a censorship issue in New Zealand. Like a lot of the alt tech platforms, if you will, which happen to be the ones, generally speaking, more committed to free speech than the large ones, they don't have the infrastructure or the manpower to set 50 different algorithms or 50 different guideline policies with 50 different enforcement teams for each jurisdiction that allows certain things but not others, right? So it's very easy, much easier for these tech companies to just put in place a one-size-fits-all set of rules that, as Russell said, happens to conform to the most restrictive states that they plan to function in. And now, in the case of X, you have a platform that's large enough where perhaps it could set things up that way if they wanted to, but Elon doesn't want to, and good on him for not wanting to, obviously, because this is a way. I mean, not every platform is able to sort of split itself up in that way. Right. Like what you're saying, most platforms that you impose these kind of rules on will be faced with either we are banned in this country. Like I believe, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. I believe Rumble is banned in France. I don't think the app works in France. Yeah. Or you have to, do things in this sort of snapshot.
Yes, that's true. Misha tells us that
it is. Okay, cool. Yeah, I thought
do you
so,
remember when the big, I remember this vividly about how the big outrage against our fine Western civilization free speech was the Islamic clash of civilizations we were engaging. And they think they can censor us, those stinking Muslims.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. In fact, Douglas Murray's still pushing that shit right now. Defending this shit because he's down with NATO. That's what this is, right? Five Eyes countries? This is your Western civilization.
Yeah, another one of these motherfuckers. I just saw this today, and I was very disappointed to see it. I really liked Jonathan Haidt's book, The Coddling of the American Mind, and he's one of those who, these protesters need to be stopped. They're supporting terrorism.
Just coddling a certain American's mind.
All these pro-speech people flipped right away as soon as the subject turned to Israel. All right, so Elon has been going back and forth with the Australian Prime Minister, and it's been getting pretty heated. So let's take a look.
When it comes to Elon Musk, the Australian Prime Minister doesn't mince his words.
Well, this guy is showing his arrogance. He's a billionaire over there in the United States who thinks he's above Australian law.
And the idea that someone would go to court for the right to put up violent content on a platform shows how out of touch Mr. Musk is.
The spat began last week following the stabbing of an Assyrian bishop in a Sydney church, where a 16-year-old boy was charged for terrorism. Bloody footage from a live stream circulated heavily on social media, prompting Australia's e-safety commissioner to issue tech giants with injunctions to remove worldwide access to the videos. Australia's federal court on Monday gave X 24 hours to remove the content or face hefty fines. But the SpaceX founder bit back at Canberra, arguing one country shouldn't be able to ban global access.
All right. So
Kangaroo Jong-il. You don't get to say nothing to nobody in other superior countries.
Well, of course not. I'm amazed that this is even a question.
Kangaroo Jong-il. I just got that. I wasn't quick enough for that, but that was good.
Crocodile.
I want to give you credit for it. I just wasn't quick enough to get it, but yeah, that's good.
Australia's Prime Minister taking time during his presser to advertise for Elon. Quote, by and large, other social media responded appropriately to the calls for censorship by the e-safety commissioner. X chose not to. We know, I think, overwhelmingly, Australians want misinformation and disinformation to stop.
I'm sorry, what?
So Elon picked right up on that. I'd like to take a moment to thank the Prime Minister for informing the public that this platform is the only truthful one. And then he put out a little meme. Don't take my word for it. Just ask the Australian Prime Minister with a forked road free speech and truth leading to X, and then slammed quite a few of his rivals to the right. Censorship, propaganda, YouTube. YouTube is safe and effective, and we're very happy to be here.
It slows the spread. Yeah.
We're very happy to be here.
Slows the spread of misinformation. Yes.
It does, yes. They're fighting a noble
Instagram,
battle.
Facebook, same thing.
And we want to thank YouTube for shutting off the comments on our completely inoffensive video, by the way. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. What's that next one? I'm old. I don't know what the hell that one is.
That's Threads. That's the Facebook
is that Threads?
version of Twitter. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Nobody knows what it is anymore.
Okay, I'm not old.
And
I'm just
Reddit.
like 99% of people don't know what that is.
Do you know how despicable Reddit has been? That's one of the first ones that went down to the deep state was Reddit. It's unreal.
Yeah.
Do a deep dive in Reddit. Wow, that's the worst one.
I've never posted on Reddit. I never knew how. What do you need? Tokens? You need goodwill, karma, points? What if I went to write something? It's like you don't have
for Asperger's.
You don't have karma points. You can't. I said, fuck this. I'm leaving.
Yeah,
you got to buy a fedora first.
Yeah.
So here's Elon really articulating his position, and the only reasonable position, I think. Our concern is that if any country is allowed to censor content for all countries, which is what the Australian e-safety commissar is demanding, then what is to stop any country from controlling the entire internet? We have already censored the content in question for Australia pending legal appeal, and it is stored only on servers in the USA. So what is the Prime Minister talking about? That he's violating Australian law? He is not violating Australian law.
I'll talk any shit about Australia I want to. And first of all, that's a video of a thing that fucking happened that embarrasses you. That's not the same as misinformation. That's malinformation, according to your own.
Listen, man, all I'm going to say to our Australian friends, I got 4 words for you. Young Einstein starring Yahoo Serious. Okay, that's 5 words. But after that, shh.
You didn't like the other?
You lost all rights to say anything.
The other
about
Yahoo series
our
where he's
culture.
Ned Kelly?
No, I never saw that one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Plus,
so
I don't even. It's
did
too
great
confusing to figure out what time it is over there too. I never know what time it is in Australia.
I know
It's
because
annoying.
I was married to an Aussie. It is.
What time is it in Australia now?
Well, I can't tell you what time, but I can
See,
tell
you
you
don't
it's,
know. See,
it's
you can't say it.
19 hours ahead of LA.
Right. So if I ask you what time is it now, you can't figure that out.
It would, no.
Yeah. See, that's what I mean. So
All right, fair enough.
what
fair
time
enough.
is it? That's an answer you need to have now. You know,
It's true.
you're trying to figure out what time it is. You got to think about it. There might as well not be a time there.
I don't think you should be able to join the family of nations if Americans can't figure out easily what time it is in your country.
Yeah, no, I mean, you could. I mean, you have a right to exist, but I'm not going to pay attention to a country I don't know what time
That's
it
it,
is.
right? Kick them out of NATO.
Yeah.
So,
I agree with everything that's been said here.
Sacrifice him to Putin. Yeah.
all right. So, of course, this. Okay. So, to explain what the E-Safety Commissioner is. Okay. So, basically, it's like if the unelected Senate parliamentarian had censorship rights with no real
For
check
the world.
on their authority. Yes. This is what it is. And this person is completely ideological because currently somebody is suing because they were penalized for misgendering somebody on a platform. So there's a segment that Elon shared about that.
Chris, we've had him on this program, has submitted a notice of appeal against the E-Safety Commissioner in this country, Julie Inman Grant, over her takedown order for his post where he supposedly misgendered a trans activist. Tell me the latest with this case. It's a fascinating one. It's one that got international attention. People were shocked that this was happening in Australia. And you would think the E-Safety Commissioner would have bigger priorities, I don't know, child exploitation for one, than to bring down posts on X.
Yeah, that's right. Look, there is a serious issue with the exposure of children to, graphic and obscene content, and it needs to be dealt with. The problem that you've got here with this e-safety commissioner, she's an activist.
Absolutely.
She will continue to expand her role to police the internet, to censor debate in a way that's consistent with her own ideological views. We're just talking about the EPA. It's the exact same problem. You have these unelected bureaucrats that have vague powers, and they will fill it with their views, and she has a track record of censorship, and it only ever targets one side, and unfortunately we're seeing that happen again.
And let's not forget, we've mentioned it before on this program, she was appointed by the coalition government. This isn't some Labor appointment. This is another an example of the coalition wasting power. You do wonder why, what's the point of voting for them?
Well,
they kind of just appoint lefties to run the bureaucracy.
And also the misinformation and disinformation laws that started under Paul Fletcher when he was communicating. Now, this government's gone way further, but they permitted it through allowing it to go as far as it did.
All right, so basically, very much like what we saw last week in our own government, where the Republicans all got together and pushed through this legislation that was not popular with their own base. That's what they're saying, that this e-commissar, this e-commissioner, got pushed through under a conservative government.
Guess what?
What?
Okay, Julie Inman Grant. I looked her up because I'm like, I wonder if she's the same exact age as the other chick who's only 42, yet she's worked at, of course, the World Economic Forum, the State Department. Julie Inman Grant, World Economic Forum, Australia's e-safety commissioner. In this role, she leads the world's first government regulatory agency committed to keeping citizens safer online. She has extensive experience in the nonprofit and government sectors and spent 2 decades working in this public policy and safety roles in the tech industry at Microsoft, Twitter. So that's a Bill Gates, WEF.
Jack Dorsey.
This is beyond CIA.
Twitter.
This is like a lizard person they cloned in a lab to do this. They're all blonde, they're all 40, and they've all been installed in these bullshit things. Is that amazing?
So it's like the boys from Brazil. There was like a batch of clones that was all born 40 years ago.
They made Hitler into blonde women. That's where you went wrong, because you're too
they trans the Fuhrer.
They trans the Fuhrer, and look at how much more effective she is.
It's true.
The same age. And all these achievements. Wow, you work for every government and every NGO and the World Economic Forum. You're only 40?
Okay, now, one of the reasons this story, this in particular, is so interesting to me, this is what they want to do here. And some of you might have followed this if you follow the online space. Fake smart person Brianna Joy Gray has relentlessly, obsessively been attacking Matt Taibbi on the premise that what he did with the Twitter files wasn't valuable enough because he didn't do what she would have wanted him to do, which is to vindicate her losing campaign with Bernie Sanders by showing that she didn't really lose. It was rigged. He didn't do that. So what he did is not really valuable. And she will not, as anybody who's followed this knows, she will not shut the fuck up about it. It doesn't seem like any ratio on her videos on this subject, on her embittered attacks on a far superior journalist and a far superior mind, frankly, than herself. Doesn't seem like any ratio is steep enough for her to stop attacking Matt Taibbi for revealing something very important. This is what they want here. And if you consider yourself on the left and you don't understand how fucking important what came out of the Twitter files is, maybe you should look at what's going on in Australia to get an idea of what they are trying to line us up for. They want wackos like Scary Poppins, Nina Jankowicz, that they tried to put in charge of a Ministry of Truth,
not hot enough,
to have this job. They want someone like that to decide what can and can't be on the internet. That is what is so valuable about what Taibbi revealed in the among other people, Schellenberger as well, Barry Weiss worked on that. But Taibbi has really stayed on that story. He goes around lecturing about what they found and how dangerous it is. He went a few months ago right to the heart of Shitlibbery, Park Slope, because he felt like, I've got to convert these people. I've got to show them this.
Best of luck.
So I mean, it's not the job of any journalist to cover every beat or to serve other people's to serve other people's interests. If you don't understand how dangerous this is and how much they want to do this here, there's a place you could go to research that. It's called the Twitter Files, and a guy named Matt Taibbi did a lot of writing about it. Yes, Kurt.
We covered this a while. Now I remember this because when the last Davos meeting happened and that Ursula woman from the EU was there, I got to go back and find the clip. It was her talking about if Elon Musk doesn't get Twitter under control, we're going to make sure that he. So this is the promise they made way back when.
Right.
That's why this is like we're trying to make this for the world because.
You're saying Jankowicz said that?
No. Ursula, what's her head from the EU?
Oh,
van der Leyen or whatever.
She's got a real Bond villainous name.
Yeah, that
Vander or something. Yeah.
That German Bukkake whore. She fucking. She toweled off, went outside of Davos, and she made this threat. And we covered this, and I was like, oh, I wonder what they're going to do. This is what all the WEF shit is going to hit from all sides to try to make this happen. I don't know how they're going to push this through here because luckily they've never managed to disarm America. I used to be where they got to do something about, I don't own a gun. I'm so glad for gun nuts now. So glad.
Keaton, anything?
Well, I mean, it doesn't seem like this can really be stopped, unfortunately. I mean, the deep state is on a real roll this week between all the World War III funding and the TikTok ban. You need people who will stand up to this. And, Elon is doing good these past few days, but as we've seen,
just don't buy a truck from the guy.
Who knows? Well, but also who knows how long he is going to actually stick to his guns on this. I mean, we just don't know.
That's true.
And the thing that's unfortunate is that a lot of the platforms that actually have proven themselves time and again as principled free speech advocates, Substack and Rumble, and even a lot of the smaller video platforms, do they have the infrastructure? Do they have the legal teams that can navigate all of this stuff?
Right.
You can be crushed.
Right.
And so we have to hope that doesn't happen. And that's why it is just imperative that people support free speech forums, true free speech forums, Rumble, Substack, and the like, because the only answer is to build those up to the point where not only can you actually reach people on those services, but that they can actually build out an infrastructure, that both a technical infrastructure and a personal infrastructure, i.e. teams of people who can fend these wolves off.
Right.
You have to be able to build them up to the point where they can actually fight these fights. Because, I mean, Elon's doing it today. He did it for a while, a few months ago, and then he flew to Israel and, palled around with Netanyahu for a day and a half. So you never know with him. But, I mean, we'll hope for the best, obviously.
All right, so you think Nina Jankowicz was crazy. She is the portrait of mental health compared to this specimen. This is an Australian senator. Now, once you watch this, you're going to feel a little better about our politics. You're going to realize how naive we are about how much better the politicians might be other places.
Okay, just
yeah,
looks like a Babylon 5 alien.
Yeah. Oh, wait. It gets better. This Australian senator should be in jail for censoring free speech on X, and Elon responded, absolutely, she is an enemy of the people of Australia. So check out this soundbite.
Elon Musk has no social conscience or conscience whatsoever. I don't know, whatever Elon Musk is on, it says that that's okay to continue to air that is absolutely disgusting behaviour. And quite frankly, the bloke should be jailed. And the sooner that we can bring rules in or do something about this sort of game playing with our social media, the better off we're going to be. But quite frankly, the power that man has, because of that platform that he's on, it's got to stop. It has absolutely got to stop.
Okay, so this screwball last night, who is a military veteran, posts this message to Elon on Facebook.
What in the blackface? What is going on?
Elon Musk's ex was asked by the Australian online safety regulator to remove 65 tweets containing video of the Sydney church stabbing attack. The AFP told the federal court that there is a real risk the video could be used to encourage people in Australia to join a terrorist organization or undertake a terrorist act. Elon Musk should put his big boy pants on and do the right thing, but he won't because he has no social conscience.
Fuck this. That's real scum. That's how...
Well, and these are the kinds of...
I'm going to join a terror organization because I saw it. The Australians can't see it.
Well, okay, and to the kinds of contradictions you get into with censorship. You have a Jewish group that actually is lobbying to keep it up because it was a Muslim who stabbed a Christian because he was saying things allegedly that were anti-Muslim in his
the Christian said to forgive the guy
in his sermons.
That guy who got stabbed said, please forgive that guy.
There's another thing. He wants to keep it up. According to X's lawyers, they went in court today and they claim that he says he wants it up. So he wants it up. A Jewish group wants it up. So this idea that you've got all the people of conscience on one side and Elon Musk, that's just not true. You have other people who feel like you want to have that up to show the dangers of extremism.
Do you know what
this is why you cannot have dangerous mental cases like this in positions of power. And once you go down the censorship road, it's always people like this who end up in charge of the censorship.
Well, they're installed for that. But the thing that's crazy is the real risk about an terrorist act. I'll tell you what, because if they're not showing it in Australia, that means she's thinking globally that in some other Five Eyes country, someone's going to be mad and join a terrorist thing because, as you know, your own country is not a country; it's a state.
Well, they're supposed. Well, they're upset. You could use a VPN to get around it, as many do in China.
Yeah. Right.
But okay, to end this segment on a positive note, Doge designer here released just now. X has taken the top spot as the #1 news app in the App Store in Australia in both the free and grossing categories.
Hey.
So Elon Musk retweeted it. People want the truth. It's true.
Elon,
it's true. The easiest way to send people in another direction is to censor them.
I just had a wisdom of Solomon solution to this. Elon, send them all a free Cybertruck. Send that bitch from Australia. With my compliments, man. Sharpen them doors up good.
That would be one way to eliminate your enemies.
What was the point of
a Trojan Cybertruck, so to speak?
Can I just ask a question? The thing that I got so caught up in the horrible thing she wrote. What was the point of that picture in relation to that? I don't understand at all what the fuck that was.
Well, she's clearly a dangerous whack job, but I think the point was she's more manly than him.
Is that what that was?
Well, she says, put on your big boy pants. So she's attacking his masculinity by showing herself with her war face on.
Wash that shit
I thought she was
off your
trying to
face.
scare him out of coming to Australia.
What's that, kid?
Fuck him. I thought maybe she's trying to scare him out of coming to Australia. They'll
With
fuck
what,
him
a
up.
female soldier? Are you joking?
Yeah, no, Australia. Yeah, they got like 6 foot tall fucking tarantulas in Australia. I mean, she's the least scary thing in Australia. They're like mutant insects there, bugs, spiders.
It's true.
It's true. You ever it's like a turtle that can take your face off.
Did I ever see?
Yeah.
When I went there with my wife, the first night we're there's a freaking spider the size of my hand on the wall, and we're looking. She goes, "Oh yeah, there's a spider that looks like that. That's poisonous and one that isn't. Let's Google it."
Look, it's no country for Sheila. Crocodile Dundee told us that, and he was right.
I'm an American. We don't Google. We shoot first, Google later.
Shoot first.
Kill this fucking thing.
Well, they took their guns away, those commies.
That was like a woman threatening him, is what you're telling me? The woman in the face paint?
Well, she's impugning his manhood in her crazy mind. That's, I think, what in her crazy mind she's doing.
How did her face get like that?
Be a real man like me.
I was kicked in the face by a kangaroo.
Yeah. All right, Misha, to you.
All right, we're gonna go to Rumble, everybody. It's been working well, so we're gonna go over there. I put the link in the YouTube chat and in the Rockman chat, so we will see you in just a moment over there. Okay.
Hey, get this. So we all know that the mainstream news media is not reliable. How can you trust them when they've never told you the truth about Russiagate, Ukraine, COVID, lockdowns, anything? That's where our sponsor, we have a new sponsor, Ground News, comes in handy. Ground News is an app and a website. And what they do is they gather related articles from around the world in one place so you can compare coverage. So it's not, they don't generate the news, they compile the news, and then they give you the visual breakdown of the news outlets and tell you if the source has a political bias, and if it does, what's the political bias, and how reliable that the reporting is, and who owns them. So it's super helpful and transparent. Check this out. So like if you search Russia-Ukraine, search Russia-Ukraine war, and you'll see how it's covered. Here we see 111 total news sources. 18 of them are left-leaning. 9 are right-leaning, and 27 of them are centrist. The bias distribution is 50% center, and it even shows their logos along with their factuality and ownership. So this is a pretty helpful, dare I say, use an old-timey term, this is a neat website. So this is a good way to do your own research. So you get there, you see that they help you by seeing what the bias is, by who owns these news outlets, but they compiles all different kinds of sources around one news story. So it gets you access to independent and international perspectives, not just nationalist sources with the same political agenda. It helps you find the discrepancies in how certain topics are covered and shows you how corporate agendas can influence the news you read. Sounds a lot like this show. Sounds like this website does what this show does. Sounds nice. So if you want to see it for yourself, go to ground.news/JD. Ground.news/JD. Use the link below, and we're going to get you 40% off unlimited access. Go to ground.news/JD, and we're going to get you 40% off unlimited access. Think critically about the news you consume.
Isn't it swell? The memes make themselves. They found a rabbi hole, tunnels and all. There's Jews in the walls. Isn't it bliss? The rabbinical grace soiling the mattresses. Well, let me tell you. If I were Rabbi Shmuley and diddle 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 digga digga diddle diddle dum, all day long I'd diddle little bums. If I were a Shmuley man, I'd peddle all my dildos, dreidel dildos, selling dildos with my daughter and her mum. If I were a Jewish Shmuley man, I'd be digging with a dildo in my bum. I'd wear a grotesque nose and go grab some goyim right on the nipple with a pinch. A Shabbos lap dance brace for the youngest mensch.
Hey, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there for more AM Joy and the rest of MSNBC. And click on any of the videos right here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. And you can get more videos from MSNBC for free every day with our newsletters. Just visit